I like it when Ford experiments on me sometimes. Story of Seasons Trio Towns is the best game ever, and if you disagree, I will simply assume you don't believe that water exists. The game starts with your character's father, Daryl. No, not that Daryl. This Daryl. Dropping the bomb that his job requires him to move to a new town. So the entire family got to pack up and move. Again. Your character, Holly or Henry, takes this as the perfect chance to announce, actually, I don't want to move. I would rather be a farmer. Daddy Daryl hits us up with a big ol' no. We bicker for a bit, but eventually he caves in, but only if his brother, Uncle Frank, who is a farmer in West Town, agrees to show us the ropes and make sure that we don't die on the farm immediately. And yes, I did say our Uncle Frank lives in West Town. I know you're asking yourself, what is West Town? Let me answer that for you.
Let me do it for you.
As the title implies, Story of Seasons Trio Towns. There are 3 towns. There's West Town, Lulukoko, and Suyukuzo, and each town has its own distinct vibe. So without further ado, buckle up, sit back, and relax as I take you on this guided tour of 3 of towns. Welcome to West Town, where everyone greets you with a hug, whether you like it or not. West Town is a Wild West inspired mining town, so think about Western movies, you know, saloons, train tracks, and people say, howdy folks. The local flora here includes spiky cacti, succulent aloes, common chamomile, and marvelous moondrop flowers. While fauna includes a very angry bear that will charge at you if you get too close to it. Aloha from Lulukoko, the vibrant and picturesque seaside town. Lulukoko is a Hawaii-inspired town with a focus on fishing and tropical fruits. Here, instead of unsolicited hugs, we're greeted with a kind of fist bump or knock kind of thing. Whatever it is, I'm down for it. In Lulukoko, they say aloha instead of hello, como ma instead of welcome, and ikalama instead of sorry. Local flora and fauna includes avocados, breadfruit, calla lilies, quails of all colors, turtles, monkeys, and rainbow peacocks. Finally, we'll arrive in Suyukuza, a serene, Japanese-inspired town where people greet each other with bows instead of touching. Perfect! The clothing and buildings there are very traditional Japanese style. They'll greet you with konnichiwa instead of hello. And probably a lot of other lovely words and phrases that I just can't pronounce. In terms of local wildlife, Suyukuza has plenty of chestnuts, apricots, ginger, foxes, tanuki, and beautiful sakura trees. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before the crops, before the barn animals, before West Town's hug as a greeting, there was a family that I had to draw. I thought it would be fitting for our main character, Holly, to hold a basket with our harvest. What's inside the basket? A radish. Just one. It's not much, but it's honest work. I drew the entire family standing on a floating patch of land, like a small isolated island. but it's most likely a chunk of farmland. I made the pathway yellow to match how it's yellow in the game. And the straw hat that's flying away, that's a reference to the opening cutscene that plays every time I boot up the game. I really love how this piece turned out. It's cozy, it's cute, and I think it captures the warm, hopeful, starting to be a farmer vibe. Just ignore Daddy Daryl's frowny face. Remember, he doesn't want us to be farmers to start with. Anyways, so let me introduce you to all the villagers in each town. The villagers of Westtown are Wayne, Ford, Lizette, Frank, Megan, Marco, Brad, Carrie, Hector, Colin, Miranda, and Noel. Oh, and Desi, the harvest goddess who lives in the river. In Lulucoco, the villagers are Alma, Kaolila, Hulani, Lotus, Mithra, Shock, Tegre, Tototara, Ludet, Zaho, Ailuka, and Siluka. Also there is Witchy, the local witch who lives in the temple. Next is Suyukuza. The villagers of Suyukuza, Jinjiro, Itesu, Moraya, Omiya, Shizu, Sumomo, Tatsumi, Yumikichi, Hinata, Yuzuki, Karomi, and Yaichi. And Ainari, the fox spirit who lives in the shrine. Now, here are some things I like about Story of Seasons Trio of Towns. I like Fort. I also love that the game lets me experience 3 different towns with 3 different cultures. It makes the world feel bigger and more immersive, just like a lot more happening overall. I also love that there's always a festival, or at least it feels that way. Some festivals are town specific, while others involve all 3 towns participating. I also like that too. It's like we could all share a festival, but also we could do our own thing. I super love that the characters feel so alive. I like how interesting the characters are and the dynamics between them. My favorite character is Ford. I like Ford. He's a doctor who lives in West Town, but I think he's the only doctor for all 3 towns. Yes, he's a doctor, but he's also a bit socially awkward. Like, a lot flies over his head, especially when it comes to flirting and romance. And he's also a germaphobe, so he's not just one flat note. I like that there are part-time jobs in this game. They're a good way to make extra cash on this when you don't have many farm chores to do. I like it when Ford experiments on me sometimes. Wait. It's a part-time job. Plus, it allows me to contribute to science and medicine, and that's very important. I will go to his lab or his clinic, and he'd ask me which of 3 random potions I want to try, and I would pick one, and he would just watch and see if I die or not. There's also farm customization using the farm circle feature, so you get to move around like where you want your farmland to be, or where you want your chicken coop. By the way, did I mention that I like Ford? I also like that there's winter crops. I like that we can actually plant crops during the winter. It wasn't always something we could do. I used to have to fish or mine my way through winter in Harvest Moon DS. I also like that I could finally customize my character's appearance. It took a very long time for me to be able to be black in a farming game. Now, things I dislike about Story of Seasons Trio of Towns. Mining. Don't get me wrong, I like mining, but I prefer entering mines or caves and actually hitting the rocks and getting gems and stones that way. But in this game, the mines are just sad little holes in the wall, and that is not as satisfying and not as fun as fighting demonic chickens. Wait, no, that actually happens. Harvest Moon, yes. When you go in the mine after a certain level, there's demonic animals that's come to get you. And then there's the Tom Link requirements. This is not a full dislike, it's just I don't like the execution. Because sometimes it feels a bit forced, like the game is purposely slowing me down. And I don't like that. It slows down my routine and forces me to do random side quests. It's not bad, but I do wish it was implemented a bit more seamlessly, just overall less jarring. But as much as I like Fort, this time I decided to draw the 3 deities, Desi, Witchy, and Ainari. I thought it would be fitting to have Witchy there with her arms crossed. Cause to me it made sense since she's a witch, and so she would be a little bit more on the mischievous side. In my head, she's also younger than Desi and Ainari, so maybe she's also a bit more bratty and more likely to throw tantrums. I don't know why I was thinking that Desi, Witchy, and Ainari were all kids. We're not, because Ainari is actually a marriage candidate. But in my head, Desi is a kid. Desi would be slightly older than Witchy and probably more well-behaved, which is not. And then maybe Ainari just trying to keep everything together. I like this little trio. They are cute. I think my favorite part is how Witchy looks like she doesn't want to be there. And that concludes your whirlwind tour of Story Season's trio of towns. It's the best game ever, and if you've made it this far and you still disagree somehow, bruh, you're cooked. But seriously, I love this game so much. Final ratings: West Down, 4 out of 5 stars, 1 star removed because hugs as a greeting is not the vibe. Lulu Coco, 8 out of 5 stars. It's got delicious fruits and pretty beaches. Suyukuza, 4 out of 5 stars. We appreciate the beautiful clothes and the beautiful buildings, but I removed 1 star because why does Yaichi's hair look like that? Hope you like this mix of game rambling and art making. Like, comment, and subscribe, and most importantly, Ford is love. Ford is life. Thanks for watching Mango Cafe TV. Bye!